We are live, James.
Yay! Hello, everybody. James from Prague. SoulCARE is on weeklies now, so every Monday instead of the full week, it's just a Monday because, I don't want to overtax you and too much of a good thing. How are you guys? How have you been? I've been thinking about you a lot over the week, and because it was a little bit of a strange thing of not being with you on 12 o'clock every afternoon, but I had to do that. I mean, wanted to do that too because got to move on and do different things here and there and get you back to your life. I hope it helped while the time I did it with you. Um, and I'm right now in a different way of coming to you because I tried Facebook, but it wouldn't open up. So I'm with John Williams, and he put me through StreamYard. So I am here. And John, can you hear me, John?
I do. I hear you
Okay.
fine.
And can we see people's comments or not? Is
We
that
sure
possible?
can.
Oh, good.
Yes. Yep.
Live comments. Oh, I see. Live comments. All
Here
right.
we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. It's so different than Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm getting to technical things and Express 101. I mean, really, I have 7 books I'm reading at the time. And yes, Margie, Irene, Shade, hello, Judith, hello, Kate. It comes on much faster. Okay.
Sure does. Yeah. And
Deidre,
I'll have them.
Doreen, Betty, Heidi, Sandra, Sabine, Kathy. I try to say hello to everybody. Right? Um, how many can we tell we have? Do we have a number somewhere?
Yeah. I have over 335 so far watching.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Hi, Susan Luxon. Hi, Susan Hall. Hi, Jackie Sal. Heather, Scott, Sin, Marta, Janica, Barb, Judy, Joanne, Karen. So funny. It's our community. It's our
Mhm.
community. One thing about this Zoom, about the Zoom calls, well, this happened to me beforehand because with our school, we realized it, but it really has brought people together as a community, I think. It really has. Do you think, John?
It sure has. Yeah.
Much more than ever before because people are coming to one space with the same mindset, and it really does build the energy as we've done with other evenings of spirit we've done, evening of psychic readings, and just our classes we've been doing. It really is a wonderful community. We had, was it John, 900, 800 people for the psychic reading last, right?
We
About
sure
that.
have. Yeah. We have up to 1,000 each session.
Wow.
So
And
anywhere from.
it's amazing how quickly people just gravitate, and there's a community formed within seconds because it's like, wow, it's great. It's really, really great. And everybody does the exercise together, and it's just one big one big unit, really. It's great. It's
Mhm.
community. My school is a community. This is a community. It's great. And it's through communities we can make changes, which is fantastic. Are you an empath? I certainly hope I am, Lori. I better be. For 40 years I've been doing this stuff. I should be an empath. Yes, I am, of course. Hello, love you. Love you too. Hello, Bright One. Hello, Rachel Stone. Thank you. Thank you, Trish. Thanks, Lavonda. Oh, you put it on the screen so I can see it. That's so much
Yeah.
nicer. My eyes appreciate that. Sonia Allen, thank you for all you do. Thank you very much. I love what I do. I have passion for what I do, obviously. I have 4 planets in fire signs. That's a lot of passion. And I have in Leo. So Leo is in, so those who don't know about astrology, you'll take my astrology course, which is very, very good for this basic astrology. A fire sign like Leo is rules showbiz. So I have it in the planet of Mercury, which is communication. So it's destined that I was on television, that I am on television, that I'm before the public, in the media, in the television, and also in books. I have a placement. I don't know the exact house what books are, but there is a big placement there for books for me. When I was young, one of the first psychic reads I ever had before I knew any of this, a lady said, "You're going to make all of your money through writing." And I'm like, "Writing?" And I thought sitcom writing or plays or something. No, but it's books. I never ever thought books.
And all these
Interesting.
courses too.
And all these courses, I've written all
Yeah.
the courses too. Yeah, and the courses are getting different now. We're changing it. We're doing an animal course in July, and it's 3 webcasts. And we're going to have Tammy Hendricks is going to be the second one,
It's
and it's
Tammy's
going to be,
birthday today too.
oh, it's
Happy
Tammy's birthday
birthday.
today. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, Tammy. I hope you're here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
Yeah.
to you. Happy birthday, dear Tammy. Happy birthday to you. Wow, if she's in here, I'll have to call her up afterwards.
Yeah.
Wow, she's a great animal communicator, and we're going to
Sure.
have 3 special nights of communicating with animals. I'm going to teach you and talk to you about, sharing with you about animal telepathy. How do you communicate with animals? Because animals communicate very differently than humans. Animals tend to communicate with pictures, if you will, pictures.
Mhm.
And the more detailed you are with the picture, the more emotional then they'll get the picture. Very much like, which is interesting. John, is like mediumship. So when a spirit comes through and wants to send something to the loved one, many times they'll send a picture into the medium's mind. So the third eye. So that's many times they'll receive it that way. First they'll receive feeling, but many times it's pictures that the spirit will send the medium. So very similar. And there are different ways to approach an animal, when to communicate best, how to find out if it's in pain or it's upset with what it's eating. We'll do a whole bunch of different things like that. Yeah, I might have someone else come on too as a surprise guest. I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking
Cool.
about
And I
it.
know Tammy gets into the soul contracts of animals too, so really
She
about
does.
really deep.
Yes,
Really
she
deep.
does. Yes,
Yeah.
she does. So that's it's on the website now, I believe, right, John? The 3 nights of that. It's on vampprog.com. If it isn't, it's coming on this week because it's
Yeah.
happening in July, and it's 3 nights in July, and it'll be about 2 hours. And I don't know what the price is. I think it's 149 for 3 nights, and for a course, we'll record it. You can always have it and take it with you, and there'll be questions and answers. There'll be exercises you can do. I'm going to fill it up. So, and we'll also have a night of among those 3 nights, a night communicating with just the animal spirits of your loved one, your animal loved ones. They'll come through. We'll do a reading for them, and then also how you can contact them in heaven yourself. Um, I love it. I love to put myself in my dog's head. I don't think my dog loves it much, but I love it. So I mean, gosh, animals are, I don't know, heaven's joy. Okay,
Yeah.
let's see. So that'll be next in July. We're doing that.
That's in a couple days. Can you believe July
I
is
know it's the
15 days?
29th today, June 29th. Oh, it's a
Yeah.
very strong day today, John. I don't know if you remember this, but Kelly White is embedded in my head now. So Kelly White is a medium astrologer who's on SoulCARE a lot. We did that event together for those that
Yeah.
weren't here. And there are 5 retrogrades, which means that everything slows down and miscommunication. Machines don't work, computers don't work. I got a brand new iPhone. Why I did this, don't ask me why. I think I had too many cracks on my other one. And it took me 2 hours to talk to some people about fixing the programming. So, and it
Oh,
was a,
no.
a supervisor didn't know about it, so they had to go to the other supervisor, the head supervisor. It took him 23 minutes. Wait, it took him 23 minutes to get on the phone after waiting already 23 minutes. It was definitely patience. It's a very strong patient time right now with these retrogrades because things are slower. So remember that. Have you seen, John, people going crazy? I just saw it last night on the news. They call these women Karens. Have you heard of these?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Karen at the
And
store, and they have
no
this girl,
insult
and
to the folks who have the
Karen,
name Karen. That's
what does that
unfortunate. Yeah.
mean?
I mean,
And And they shoved this lady in a store in Texas, and she wasn't wearing a mask, and
yes,
people went crazy. And she started
they
going.
are.
She lost it. She's throwing
Yeah.
everything out. I was like, "Wow, lady, calm down." I was like, "Whoa, just food. It's just a mask. Goodness gracious, not good to get like that. Not good for a
No.
lot of reasons. Not good
And
for
is
the
that because
body."
Mars is in the sign of Aries now?
You're just, John. You're psychic. You're going right before me. Damn it! I always forget. So what I was going to tell you was, John,
Sorry.
today is the day. Yeah, today is the
Yeah.
day. We're at the planet of Mars, and Mars is all about. It's a fiery planet. It's a masculine planet. It's a really strong planet. Fiery, best way to describe it. Getting things done. Fiery, go for it. And it's in the sign of Aries, and Aries is its natural placement. So every sign is a planet, and Aries planet happens to be Mars. So when you meet Aries people, they're headstrong. They go and jump in strong. That's the hardest working sign of the zodiac. They have a lot of energy, lot of energy, and yeah. So it's just it's a day when you have Aries and Mars, and it's going to be there for 6 months.
Mm.
6 months.
Mm-mm-mm.
So Mars is a warlike planet, and Aries is a warlike sign. So what does that mean? War. It's going to be some kind of war. So whether it's a war of military war, whether it's a war of politics, whether it's a war of people, there's a war feeling out there,
Mm.
and it goes through January. So I wouldn't be surprised if some kind of a war. Would not be a bit surprised. I really wouldn't, because everything is getting crazy, and Trump's trying to divide the country, and it's just nutty. It's nutty. You got to keep grounded, boy. Keep grounded. Every day is like, what planet are we on?
Right.
What
But on
planet
the
are we
positive side, isn't Mars with Aries, isn't that passion and
on?
going after what you're
So the
passionate.
positive side, which I
Yeah,
was going to talk about, thank you, John. I don't take notes anymore because you will just remind me.
I will.
So the positive side, which is a really great opportunity here, For Aries in Mars, the positive is to get something done that you've always wanted to do and get it done. Now you'll have the energy it takes to finish things, to finish tasks, to get things going, beginning, middle, and end. So, for instance, me, I'm going to finish this musical I have been going on for 2 years. I have to do one more act. I'm doing it today. And then I'm starting my screenplay. I'm almost the second act of my screenplay, which I haven't touched in a long time. But I want to go back to that and write it and get it done. So there's extra sense of energy to get things accomplished and to do
Cool.
things. So that's good. So if you have anything on the back burner you want to bring out to the front burner, go for it now because fire will do it for you.
So passion and motivation. So
Passion, motivation, love, 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 love. Be a lot of love making. That's all I got to say. Sex, sex, Mars, sex. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right. So can you tell us more about this
Thanks,
musical of
Cheryl.
yours?
The musical I'm doing. Well, yes, it's been around for a long time. My
Okay.
first musical I did was called The Haunting of Edgar Allan Poe, and that was Edgar Allan Poe has always been in my life for some reason. I wouldn't say he's a guide, but he definitely knows there's some influence there because weird things have happened where I walked down a street, it was named Poe. I walked down
Mhm.
another street in Boston, it's where he died. I walked up one of the places where he was born. I've been to Baltimore, just weird stuff. So I know I was either my part of my soul was in that lifetime, or I knew him, or something like that. So I knew how
Mhm.
to write something because I really understood him. I understood him very well. Capricorn man, hard life. Capricorns have a hard life, can have a very hard life, depending, of
Mm.
course, on all the aspects of their chart. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if you had some Pisces somewhere, Pisces being the martyr too, and that could be
Yes.
and he's a sensitive man. He was very intuitive. His writing is channeled. I mean, he's channeling all that. So, and there was always a love, hard to find love. So that was the musical I was writing then.
Mhm.
It's called The Haunting of Poe or something like that. And the man we had it all set up, and the man that we chose to write the play or the outline of the play, we chose him in New York. And I met with this man. He said, "Well, I do what you do." I'm like, "What?" That's a different world. I'm in the playwriting world now. I'm not in the mediumship world. Can we just
Right.
put that to the side? Well, he gave us an outline. It wasn't really what we wanted, and so we
Mm.
stopped that project for right now. And then he became a very well-known channeler. I'm not going
Oh,
to mention
wow.
the name, but he became, yeah.
Okay.
So that's still out there. But this other one I came up with, it's called the Tree of Life.
Tree of Life.
The Tree of
Okay.
Life, and it's about three different scenarios, and I can just say that they all intercept in some way, and it's all about karma, and it's all
Oh,
about lessons, and it's all about things that you learn, but you don't realize you learn until after you leave. So it also has to do with the afterlife, and that's what I can
very
say.
cool. That sounds really interesting. So your
Yeah,
musical you're making is called Tree of Life.
the Tree of Life. Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah. I mean, I'm very good at bringing songs and melodies. I can do melodies all the time. If I just had a tape recorder, I do melodies like crazy. Lyrics, no, but melodies definitely. Actually,
Oh,
the poem show, I had all the melodies done on an airplane ride from New York to California, and I gave it to this guy. I didn't know what to do with it next. And my gardener at the time said, "Boy, you keep on whistling these songs. My nephew can transpose them. He's a genius on the piano." And he did. He just listens to tapings and he made a wonderful tape of it. So, yeah. And I brought it to a producer in New York, and they said, "Who did this music? It sounds classical music. Is this Faust? Who is this? Who is this? Did this music? Chopin?" I said, "No, me." They could
yeah,
have, I guess, but
that's
yeah.
awesome.
So yeah, so that was interesting. That was the end of that. But yeah, we'll see. There's always, I think in life there's always different. You meet people for different reasons, and
Sure.
one time you'll meet them for that time, but you'll come back again and meet them again. And now that we have Saturn retrograde, our past is going to meet us again.
Mhm.
So all those people that you did good things to will come back in your life, and those that you didn't do will come back to you for the healing. So that happens.
And that also happens with Mercury retrograde, which we're in right now too, right? It's like
Yes.
relationships we revisit, right?
Revisit, yes,
Mhm.
communications that were not
Reunion.
well, reunions, forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's almost like a second chance we're given, like a
Okay.
second chance. And you can reach out to people. You don't have to be physically reach out to them, sorry, or you can write a card to them. You
Mhm.
can send a prayer to them. It's just that, again, you don't have to forgive what was done, but just forgive them because they didn't know any better. I'm sure people that have done me wrong, I guarantee 99% or 95% didn't know that they were what they were doing, and that was the level that they're at.
Would you call them dark teachers, people who teach you lessons through
I don't know
maybe
dark. I
negative
don't dark
experiences?
teachers. I don't like the word dark. That sounds
Okay.
too devilish.
Too
Teachers.
devilish?
I just say teachers, soul teachers, really.
Okay.
12 pages.
Got it.
Kelly and I took that course with that man 3 weeks ago. Do you remember him? I don't remember his name.
Oh, yes, yes, I remember the one you're talking about when you did the
He
binaural
yes,
beats?
by
Mhm,
narrow he works and I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. He works with consciousness and different levels of consciousness.
mhm,
And one thing he said, which was, gosh, it's Thomas Campbell, that's it.
mhm.
He said something I put on Facebook last night, "Love is about other and fear is about me."
Hmm,
So love equals other, fear equals self. And then a lady on my Facebook page said, "No, that doesn't. No, no, no. What about panic attacks?" I said, "Well, I don't think you understood me correctly, but it really goes down to the basics of looking at self.
mhm,
Fear is usually of something about yourself. Control, worried about if you're going to live, you're going to get ill, you're going to die, what you're going to financially survive, whatever. And love is about you're not concerned really about yourself with others. So I understood that. I understood that. Love is
so
about
it's
others.
the
Fear is
me
about
versus we.
the what?
The me versus we.
The me versus we. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Very good. You have another one I was going to say the day when we were on, John, and I forgot what you said. You had said it years ago.
Oh,
Was it?
was it about the rejection, divine?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
rejection is divine redirection, and,
Oh, wait, I
yeah.
gotta write that down, sorry.
That's a hard one, though. Rejection is often divine redirection and protection. So,
Wait, I don't know if that's it, but that's a good one. Hold
yeah,
on. Okay, rejection, you said?
yeah, rejection is
Uh,
divine redirection and protection. Usually, I mean, in most cases,
definitely.
right?
Yeah,
And then a no equals next opportunity.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah, we'll
I
have
like
some
that.
others come in from the audience. I'm sure they have
Yeah, does anybody
something.
else have any? You wanna
Yeah,
write some in,
yeah.
everyone?
I'll watch for them. The comments come in super fast, but I'll watch
No
for some
comment.
here, and they're on a delay, so they'll catch up with us. And
Knowing this helps my anxiety in the afterlife, I believe that. Great saying.
mhm,
Wow, perfect.
yeah,
Sickness is perverted energy. That's a good one, Danielle. I believe that too.
I
It's
like
definitely
that
energy that's
one.
not balanced, that's for sure.
Okay. People need to have more empathy in life from Lynn.
Yep, without
Yeah,
a doubt.
that's so true.
Oh, here's one. Empathy is evolving.
Mm,
With empathy, we evolve. Or evolvement, empathy, with empathy,
yeah, I like
we
that.
evolve. Empathy, we evolve.
Yep. No, it's true. No one wants to be rejected, but often it's for the higher good when that
Yeah, it's
happens.
very true.
Mhm.
Everything here in this earth is higher good. Everything is constantly a lesson here. It's hard to substantiate or break down what's a lesson and what's not. We just got to realize that we're in school all the time, and that walking when we're walking down the hallways, it's like driving a car. Yeah, we're always in school. This is the environment of school. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Steve
Yeah.
Summers. That's the truth. False evidence appearing real, or a false ego appearing real,
Mhm.
right? Or fuck everything and run, right?
Jeez. Okay.
I said it to an audience, said, "Oh, or fuck everything and run," and they went, "Ah, he cursed."
I
And
know.
then I said, "The Dalai Lama taught me that joke," and they went, "Oh, okay, then it's okay."
Oh, yeah, okay, you get a pass on that one then.
Yeah, really.
They're asking me what the NO was. So NO equals next opportunity.
Next opportunity. It's great.
Yeah. Go
This
on
is
to the next. That's what it
okay.
means.
When I was yeah, this is from Susan Chamberlain. If you want to know your tribe, is speak your truth and see who sticks around. That's great, Susan. That's a
Mhm.
good one. Very good. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, did
She
you put
said
that up,
that's
John?
yours. She must have got that from you. So,
Do I talk about tribes? I don't talk a lot about tribes.
yeah. I know they say your vibe attracts your tribe, so I like
Your
that.
vibe attracts your tribe. That's another
Mhm,
one. Your
mhm.
vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah, so folks, give us some good catchphrases, ones that you use. I think those would be fun.
Like attracts like. So your vibe, yeah, your vibe is
Mhm.
shuts right. Great, great, great. Yeah, we'll put some emojis on these. We'll put some put on Facebook,
Yeah.
and we'll put your name underneath, so we'll have them.
Yeah, exactly.
No message from Hunter, sweetheart. I'm not doing any messages today. When's our next message, John? Next Friday? A
That
week
will be
from
this Friday, won't it?
this
It'll be
Friday
this Friday, yeah, first Friday in
at
July, so
4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's 2 hours of messages for you.
mhm.
And if you were interested, please go to vanprog.com and buy tickets. It's $19. And we do a lot of readings, a lot of answers, a lot of questions, a lot of teaching, but everybody leaves very, very happy, I will say.
Yeah.
Fake it until you make it. Yeah, that's a good one.
We've got a lot of viewers on YouTube watching now too,
Oh,
James. Thank you
good.
so
Well,
much, Austin.
hey, welcome, all the YouTube guys,
Yeah.
gals, guys, new people. Hey, old people. Hey, this is me with a beard. It's
Shout
gonna
out
get
to
better.
Ryan over there on YouTube.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan's our YouTube man. Thanks, Ryan. Peace. Ryan has helped me create my reality series. So I'm doing a reality series
James
called
TV.
James TV, and the beard's going to get a little bit longer, and it'll be me, and it'll be George Jetson. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. I'm teasing you, but me and George Jetson. That's all you get for now. But it'll be fun, and a lot of people on YouTube are not aware of all my work, so we're going to start things like in a classroom setting. It's going to be about 15-minute segments on YouTube, and it's going to be teaching, but it's going to be in a fun way.
Oh, this is a
Really
good
fun way.
one. Alina, you are the artist of your own life. Don't hand the paintbrush to someone else. Love
Oh, I
that one.
love that.
That's great.
Can we get these for the can we get these for the page?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. These
You
this
are
video
the
will live on, so it's being recorded and it will live on as on demand. So you can always go back and
Yeah,
get
but
it.
I'm writing it down because I'll never do that. I love the moment.
Right.
Don't give the paintbrush to somebody else. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Here's
There's
another
something.
one. Let's see. They're coming fast and furious. I alone can do it, but I cannot do it alone. I've used this mantra for years for myself. That's James.
Great.
That's good.
James, that's great. We could use that right now in this country, couldn't we? You should put that up on your Facebook page too. It's a
Hmm.
good one.
Let's see here. I think this is a RuPaul quote. If you can't love yourself, how can you expect to love others? You spend the most of the time with yourself. No one can love you longer. I like that. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
I said something similar to that. Similar.
Hmm.
Oh, thanks, Danny Jamieson. You love me on Media Mentors Summit. Anyone who
Oh, that
missed
was
Media
great.
Mentors Summit, it was great. John
Yeah.
produced a lot of it, helped with it. It's how can we get them to that, John?
So Danielle, yeah. So Danielle,
Spirit Voices.
Spirit Voice, yeah. And I'll put the link here. I've got
Would
it
you?
right now.
Everybody should
Yeah.
go check it out. It's the best mediums in the world got together and did a week-long summit in Australia, and I'm part of it. And
Mhm.
Gordon Smith, Lynn Probert, Tony Stockwell,
Michael
some great
Mayo, Kelly
Michael
White,
Mayo, Kelly White, uh,
Janelle Campbell.
Janelle Campbell. Yeah, definitely check it out. Each of us
Mhm.
talk about something very different every day. And some of us do lectures, like myself, do about a lecture for each day. It's a good hour lecture. Guys will love it. So yeah, check it out. It's a mediumship summit. John will put the it
Put
up
the link
here.
in there for you.
This is from Paul Wirtz. Paul Wirtz. I got a question. Okay. What does it mean when you have a dream that seems real and it becomes? Oh, thanks, John. And it
Mhm.
becomes real after a day or two. This happened to me. I am a medium. I told a friend in New Jersey. Told the police there was a truck. I told my friend call the truck. Well, that's precognition, Paul. So it's precognition. So every medium is psychic. Not every psychic is a medium. So I don't know. Your abilities might be very, very much psychic, very strong psychically, but that's definitely precognition, which is psychic. So and your clairvoyance, so you can see it. So that pay attention to that for sure. Good.
Great. So let's see here.
And Dina Garcia said the seeds you plant today are the manifestations of tomorrow. So keep your high vibe, and your thoughts on what you want. On what you want.
On
Okay.
what you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's
And
see.
Mikey Michelle Judge is going to design own self be true, and to those that are not that are true to you. Ha!
Here's a good one for the school. I've always had spirits around me in life and done readings for others. Now that my little brother has passed on the 11th, I want to hone my skills. What do I do? You go to JVP School of Mystical Arts, which it's here on the screen, and think Psychic Portals would be a good course to
Yeah,
start
it's a
out
good basic course.
with.
Psychic Portal is a very good basic. Learn grounding, trusting
Hmm.
yourself, patience, and really assess if this is a work for you. If you really want to do it, I'm very much a very down to earth person, very black and white. And
Hmm.
if it's for you, it's for you. And I give you every opportunity in every lesson class, in this one class, Psychic Portals, to understand the work, the basics
Hmm.
of the work. And if you do, if you think, oh, this is for me, I want to know more, then good. But you might take it and say, yeah, this isn't for me. So definitely do that and find out.
Yeah.
Many times spirits leave and it forces their loved ones on the earth to go on their own spiritual path. It's quite common, quite common.
There you go.
Rowena Gisik, you were the first medium I ever discovered. Your book was the first one I ever read about. Rowena, thanks, Rowena. Rowena, well, you can contact her if you want. I know that's what you're seeking peace for, but
Hmm.
um, gosh, through meditation, the breathing exercise, the lesson we just breathing in, 3, and breathing out. And when you breathe in universal love into the body. Make sure you bring it all the way down to the toes. You can see it as a color, a feeling, both. And then you exhale out of your mouth. Any stagnant energy, any worry, any fear, let it go. Let it go. Don't need that. And you're being tested. So, many times we get anxious when we're being tested. When our soul is being tested, we get anxious. That does happen. That's a human. Uh, that's a human. What's the word I'm looking for? Um, response. Human
Hmm.
response.
So
Sure.
Susie's asking, should she take psychic portals before mediumship one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Good basics. Yep. Definitely. Mhm.
Okay. And then you also have the 28 days total transformation. Should everyone do that before they take?
Well, it's a different course. It's a great course. I mean,
Okay.
it's a great, great course. I can't say it's up to each person, but a 28-day transformation is really exploring your
Hmm.
soul, and it goes into your soul for 28 days consecutively. You can't take it one day and skip 2 days. So you got to take it every day, 15 minutes, because you're building on what you discovered the day before. And it
Hmm.
really goes into, it's like a soul journey. It goes into the soul, goes back to your childhood, your birth, when you came in, why you came to, why you choose this life,
Wow.
what lessons you learned as a child. We bring you back to the childhood, see the players around you, soul players. Did you learn
Mm.
that lesson? What did you hold on to? Was it negative things you held on to, negative responses from parents or family, or scenes, scenarios, especially if you're an empath? Many times you
Mhm.
hold on to these things and you don't realize until much later in life. So it's a map, and it's also going through your life and looking at assessing it and getting rid of what you don't need, what you're carrying, which is sometimes it's mostly not your stuff. So it's
Mhm.
really great. And at the end of 28 days, change. They look different. Their aura looks different. They're expanded. They're much happier, much more in tune of who they are, being realized who they are as a soul. They know who they are as a soul. They feel from their heart, not in the head, thinking and questioning and
Mhm.
reasoning things and really into their heart space. So that's 28 days. It's a really good course,
Great.
but it has to be done consecutively.
Mhm.
So that's the important thing.
Day by day,
Day
one
by
day at a
day,
time.
day by day.
All right, let's
Is the
see.
mediumship summit on the video? Yes, Becca, it is. John, do you have the link for that
Yes. Uh-huh.
video?
Yeah, it's spiritsvoice.com/mentors, and I put it in the chat here, so you guys can check it out. Spiritsvoice.com/mentors. mentors.
And we just did this as a project of love. None of us got paid. It's all about love. It's getting the word out.
Aw,
The seed you plant today, the manifestation tomorrow. Yes. Okay.
that's
New
great.
comments. Wow, a whole
So
bunch of
here's
new
here's
comments.
one talking about Lori saying tools for sensitive souls, the best course for the empath that's out of control. Yeah, that's a good one to get energy management for empaths, right? Tools for sensitive soul.
Yes, that's the one I
Mhm.
wrote. That's the one I have in my in school, and it's a great one. It's like a toolkit for the sensitive soul. It's like, how do you know about what's your energy, and how can you discern between your own energy and energy outside of you? Like, we walk in a sea of thought every day.
Mhm.
People are thoughts. They send them out to the ethers, and
Right.
we walk through them. And if we're an empath, we pick up sometimes in those things, as you know, John.
Mhm.
And days go by, months go by, we get depressed, we get sad, something happens, and we realize that it's not our stuff. It's someone else's energy that's been seeping into our auric field, and
Mhm.
we got to learn how to get rid of that foreign energy from our bodies, from our fields. So I go through all that. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh,
And mostly people that don't feel it, the sensitives don't feel, or the empaths, they feel like they're at edge or they're not in control because it really is true. They're not in control of their fields, of the
right.
energetic fields around them. If they're in control of those energetic fields, they have nothing to worry about and they're very secure. But
Sure.
if they're not sure whose energy is here, why am I feeling this? What's going on here? My body's acting this way. You're
Yeah.
going to be scared. You're going to be insecure. You're going to be anxious. So this is a course I did to make people totally realize who they are as a soul and
Sure.
energetically what's going on within them and within the fields around them, so they can, for the rest of their lives, learn how to work with that energy.
Yeah, I like to call them the conscious empaths or the empowered empaths when they're like that, and then when they're when they're not sure what's going on with their own energy, then they're unconscious. So yeah,
Very true.
yeah,
Let me write that one down. Stealing from you, John. Unconscious empath, and a lot of them are unconscious
yeah.
empaths. Very, very true.
So this is a great question. Let's get up here. How do you decide between life tools for the highly sensitive people versus highly sensitive survival guide? Because I did see that on the school too. There's a few that are for highly sensitive. So do you know the
The first one I know is the first one is much more in detail.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Definitely more detailed.
Yeah, and we're talking about courses at the JVP School of Mystical Arts, which the address is right here on the banner. You want to check that out and go to the keyword search. There's a keyword search, and you type in any keyword like guides or sensitive or mediumship, and the courses will pop up that are the right ones for your soul. So I love that.
I'm reading Elena's thing about the newspaper. I used to work in a newspaper long ago and looking for unusual. And once you get the idea you don't want to share, surprisingly, writers from other papers sometimes would catch the same exact idea. We did say we share the same.
Mm, I like that.
So
That's sort of pulling things from the collective consciousness.
yeah, it's called zeitgeist. We call it zeitgeist.
Ah,
Zeitgeist is the zeitgeist. So the zeitgeist is out there, right? And it's like the ideas, if you will, knowledge, zeitgeist, and you
yeah,
many people pulling from the zeitgeist to write a play or a musical or do an artwork or to write a book or whatever it might be. And that's happened a lot to me. I've written
yeah,
stuff, and all of a sudden it was I wanted to pitch it at a TV network. Oh, we have that already. It happens so many times. And I already have something for the networks for the next Ghost Whisperer thing,
right.
but I gotta get it out there quickly because someone else will grab it.
That's interesting. Is that because of people from the other side are sending down these inspirational messages
Well,
to
I
us
think I
and
think it's
pulling from it?
there. I
Okay,
think it's there, and I think there are
okay.
some people that are attuned to that vibration of that
Yeah,
project, of that thing, and
right.
those that are tuned to that will sure come in and be inspired to them. So it's
Right.
kind of like a mine of creative mine,
Uh-huh.
and you can just mine that creative field. Like for instance, my reality show. If
Yeah.
I didn't do that, I know someone else would have done that. I mean, I know it. So it's just a matter of time. I've
Mhm.
always been pretty good. Oh, excuse me one second. Someone's at my doorbell.
Okay.
Who's
Do
at
we
the
need to
doorbell?
call it a
Let's
close?
see. I don't know.
Alright. I'll try to get some more questions here
Okay,
as
John.
well. And yes, we are reading your questions, Tia. They're just coming in so quickly. We're doing our best to get through, and we got over 500 people watching just on
Excuse me.
Facebook alone. So, all right. So James is going to run out for just a moment and take care of someone at the door. It's live, folks. So, here- okay. So let's see. Oh, that's great. So Gina's saying you jumped off the stage after your workshop in Houston last year and handed me your cards, messages from the guides. I treasure them. I use them most mornings. Oh, that's great, Gina. I love that. And in fact, we have the book here, a picture of the book. If you all haven't checked the book out, you definitely want to get this book that she's referring to. There's guide cards that come along that you can get, but this is the book that we're talking about, Wisdom from Your Spirit Guides, a handbook to contact your soul's greatest teachers. And I believe that was James' most recent book right after The Power of Love. So you guys want to check that out. All right, so let's see here. I've noticed that the press seem to be bringing people down to get more ratings and more money. Yes, it seems to be driven a lot by fear, Simon. Um, fear, fear drives the ratings, unfortunately. So we try to focus on the good news here and look at things from a different perspective. All right, so let's see. That's a great question. How many times are we sent back to Earth after we die? I believe James says we get a choice when we're on the other side if we want to reincarnate or not based on our soul's development and what our soul needs to learn and the growth of the soul. So, yeah. So let me see here. We'll get some more comments. It's fun trying to do these without James, but I'll do my best. Okay. Let's see. I do just want to go ahead and bring up the screen and show you guys the school in the process while we are here, and I can talk a little bit more and show it to you about what we were talking about earlier about the school. So let me go ahead and pull that up and show you. So here we go. So this is that keyword search that I was talking about. You can type in any type of keyword here. And like I've used astrology, sensitive, I've used guides, I've used psychic portals, spirit guides. And then, for instance, type in guides, and then it searches for anything with guides mentioned in the course. So connecting to your guides, angels, and masters. So yeah, so it's really a very cool search. that you can do to find the course that's right for you. And I know that we had earlier, someone was asking about sensitive. So if we go to sensitive and do a search, we've got the 3 that come up, the self-care for the sensitive soul, actually 4. All right, so we've got the self-care for the sensitive soul, life tools for the highly sensitive people, and then highly sensitive soul survival guide. So, and as James was mentioning, they're more in depth. So when you click the learn more button here, you get an introduction, that's 33 minutes, going over the course, and then a breakdown of each, which is really helpful. I'm scrolling through this pretty quick, but you guys can all go up here to the JVP School Mystical Arts and check that out. So let's go back and see. I think James is coming back. He's coming back right now. Here he
Sorry,
is.
that was did you ever hear of ring and run? Ring and run. I had a ring and
Oh
run.
no!
I had a ring and run.
You went down there and they did.
No one was there. Nobody
ring and
was
run?
there. I thought it was like Amazon. Look at my glasses, just got no dark. Yeah, I
Oh,
thought it
you've
was
got the
Amazon because
transition lenses. I
during
love
lockdown I've been Amazoning. So,
that. Jeez.
what is it today? Just a
Right.
pair of underwear.
Well, I was
Is
showing
it gym equipment?
them your courses as we were going through
Oh,
the
thanks,
keyword
John.
search. So
Oh, thanks, John.
yeah, I didn't want to answer questions without
Yep,
getting your expertise. So
you jumped off the stage. This is from Gina. You jumped off the stage after your workshop in Houston last year, and
yeah,
hand me your cards.
yeah,
Oh, good, very good, Gina. I'm glad you're using them. Very happy. Thank
yeah.
you.
She's using them, and then I also was just showing them the book that you had written in regards to guides, and we had
Yes.
that up on the screen as well. The wisdom from your spirit guides.
John isn't a medium. John's psychic, but he's a producer.
Yeah, you sort of absorb a lot of this when you work with James and the
How
students.
many years have you been working with psychic people, John? Because you do
Oh,
Kelly
over
White's
10
show.
years, at
Over
least
10 years,
10 to
yeah.
15 years. Yeah,
And
yeah,
John's what, Pisces, Gemini rising, Gemini moon.
yeah. Yeah, well, actually, on the cusp of Taurus rising, Gemini moon, and Gemini moon, Taurus ascendant. Yeah.
Did that full moon in Gemini Taurus do anything to you? Have any results?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, had
These
to.
moons have really been rocking my world. Let's just put it that way.
Here's Joanne Agrista. Prior to having cancer, I would always see 1111 or 111.
Yeah.
During treatment, I stopped seeing it. Now that treatment is over, I see 111. Okay. Usually 1111 new beginnings. New beginnings. So there you go. Makes sense. New beginnings. And I don't
And
know a lot about numerology, but I know that one. Uh,
yeah.
Deborah says some dreams come to me very specific messages. Other times it's a hodgepodge of many things. Hodgepodge
How
of
do I
many things.
find sense of the dreams that are mixed happenings?
Well, there are different types of dreams. So I always say have a dream journal next to you on the side of the bed. Definitely have one. I have one. I have 2 pads, and there are different types of dreams. So sometimes the soul leaves the body and doesn't go too far, stays around the physical body, and what happens is the brain, if you will, goes through its mental processes and has to
Mhm.
process things emotionally and whatever it might do it has to process them. There are sometimes we have dreams where we feel it's just, dreams at different levels of consciousness and awareness. So another one would be when the soul leaves the body every night. So instead of hanging out by the physical body, it'll leave and go to the spirit side, that level of consciousness, that awareness, which is where we all go when we pass out of the physical dimension, go to the spiritual dimension. And that world, you can see your guides, your loved ones, and prepare for something that's going to happen in this life. You
Mhm.
go to school, do your lessons, your missions. Many times you'll have dreams of loved ones and they feel so real,
Yeah.
and that's because they are,
They're
and
visiting.
you're
Mhm.
visiting them, and really, it's just that little part of the consciousness is remembering it, is retaining it. But if we could know every night, we'd be over there mostly all night. That's why sometimes we come back in the morning and we're exhausted because we've been up working all night. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that. Yes. Yes. Wonderful. Oh, Cindy, she says I
Tia,
sound so young when we won't get into my age. I
there's a
love
lot of things hidden about John. You have no idea. Tia J. John says, I've been
it.
mediumship and I feel spirits around me a lot. Any tips on how to receive my message is more? Sure, Tia. I would suggest what I call sitting in the closet. And that means sitting in the stillness of your being. And it's a very passive exercise. It's not a active one. And it's not a meditation per se, but it's a stillness. So you're going to go in the closet where you won't be disturbed by your phone, by animals, by humans, by noises outside. Give yourself about 15 minutes, 15, whatever, a little bit longer. And really, you want to concentrate just on sit in a chair and concentrate on your breath, breathing in and
Hmm.
breathing out. Just the rhythm of your breath. Don't even have to imagine a color or just that's what I have to do. And after you start doing that for a while, you'll begin to feel more and more relaxed, and you'll begin to naturally become aware of the body, then become aware of the space around you, and then you become aware of really, I'd say, the layers around you and your soul, which is tucked neatly inside the heart, and your soul is able to express itself, and you'll feel this overwhelming sense of it's hard to describe. Everyone's different, but not only love, but a sense of self. So it's what I can tell you. But you really have to be in that stillness for a while before you can rush into active mediumship. And if you do that, your messages will be better too. The quality of your messages are better because you're giving time to digest them. You're giving time to letting them sit within you instead of just grabbing and grasping. That's not good mediumship. Mediumship, you want the message come in and you fully become involved and engrossed with that message. It's nothing you should be snatching or grabbing. Nothing to do with it. Okay, that should help you.
All right. So let's see. We've got so many.
Danielle Valiant. A lot of these comments are very linear. You think, Danielle? A lot of people have a hard time understanding the no time concept in the afterlife. Well, it's true, but you have to remember also, Danielle, we have people here that are just starting. People brand just found me out today from
Yeah.
YouTube, and a lot of beginners who don't know what that means. So we always got to be open to teaching and to sharing. So there is no such thing as time. Time is a concept which is only of this three-dimensional world. There are many, many different dimensions, many, many dimensions. And here's what will blow people away. I always say that the soul, whatever the soul is, that essence, the energy, soul, which is an exact replica of the physical body, but then some. Um, 20% of the soul is in the body. 80% is outside the body, all at the same time. So this is like the big toe to the soul. So really, kind of walking giants, really. So it's interesting. That's a
It is.
concept, and that's a concept I'll be using a lot in my new show too. By the way, I'll be working a lot from the 80%, the perspective of things. So yeah, first got to get that down. There was no such thing as time, and then once you stop that, you realize that it's all thoughts, mental thoughts, and that they live in a very mental world over there. We're here, we're in the physical world. Over there, it's a mental world. So all you see are thoughts, and
Hmm.
you communicate in thoughts. You sense people from the thoughts. You, when you're on the other side, you don't have to speak to people. You see their character by the thoughts, the thought forms, if you will, that they're carrying with them, that are around them, that have made them who they are, based upon the good things, the bad things they did. You'll see them. So if it's a red person, it's a red person. If it's a gray person, it's a gray person. It's, you'll just know by the quality of their thoughts, by the quality of their life.
So I know you write a lot of books, James. Which book gets into more about life on the other side? And they all probably touch on it, but I mean, which one
It's
really
a
goes
good
deep
question.
into it? Is that
You know,
Adventures of the Soul?
there's a great book called Life in the World Unseen by Anthony Borgia.
Oh,
It's probably the best one that I've read about describing. There are many, but that comes from 1960s. He wrote, and they wrote another one called Life in the World Unseen again or something. And he really describes things well. He describes the
yeah.
colors well. First, Doctrination and the other side. That's a really good book. That's the number one I recommend. For my
Okay,
book, let me just see what I have here. Hold on one second.
sure. Yeah, I was thinking it was Adventures of the Soul, but I'm not sure. Let me bring up some of your books here and we can show them as well. So here's a lot of the books, and you can see these at vanprog.com, and then just click on the store there.
I think Growing Up in Heaven is good, John. I think that it's
Yeah.
about between it's an eternal connection between parent and child, and really the intention of this is. And when I wrote this, I went to my office, not this office, the other one. I was in Laguna Beach, and I walked in all these children around my desk. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Spirit children, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
see them that often. And
Hmm.
they said we're here to write your next book with you. I'm like, what? And usually when you see children, they're known as joy guides. They help bring joy to people, infuse joy to them. So I said, okay. And I just started writing, and it was about children that leave this earth, um, what humans perceive as too early. So parents lose a
Mm-hmm.
child, which I think is the hardest lesson on this earth. So I wrote this book about souls of families children that leave. Um, and you have to remember, it's really interesting that we come back, we're souls having a human experience. Souls
Right.
having even and taking classes and lessons. And some souls, children, some children have learned their lessons at age 7 or birth or 22 or 30 or 2 days of birth, and they go back home. They've graduated. How
Mhm.
wonderful it is. They don't have to go through the rest of this hard stuff. So it talks a lot about children transitioning, um, but it talks about also when they arrive on the other side, what it looks
Mhm.
like. Kyle, my soul is clean. Talks about I've all grown up. He talks about growing. So it's two of these stories they've come back and shared with me. I've grown up. All children grow up in the spirit world, even babies. So when a child appears to his parents during a reading, it appears as a child they recognize. And many times when a baby passes over, they will come back to the medium as a baby. But usually what you want to do is you want to take the medium wants to look at the baby, but say who's carrying the baby, because the baby never comes alone, because we wouldn't be able to identify it. So usually it's a relative that
Oh,
you describe to the recipient and they understand who that is. Chapter 3, a child's life and spirit. So I talk a lot about the spirit world in chapter, yeah, my new home, activities for children, schools that they have, museums, councils, libraries. So they have a whole bunch of things. So yeah, so that would be, I'd say, the closest.
okay. And show
Yeah,
that one. So
yeah,
growing up in heaven. Okay, great. The
yeah,
eternal connection between parent and child.
yeah.
Great.
I mean, it's for everybody, not just for people with
Right.
children. It's for everyone.
Yeah.
Now, my book on healing grief is a great book on just grief, not just death grief, but we grieve in so many ways. We
Sure.
grieve by
Yeah.
loss of a job,
Yeah.
obviously, we're going through right
Mhm.
now,
Yeah.
health, our
Mhm.
routine,
Right.
losing friends. I mean, we have to go through these could be emotional traumas. We have to go through them. So that's a really excellent book on going through grief, healing grief. I cover everything you possibly cover about grief in that book.
Yeah. So here's one. Is it possible to end up with the wrong people, starting with family? Like we missed our mark when coming to Earth.
Doesn't it feel like that, Kathleen? Doesn't it feel like that? I know, it feels like that.
Yeah.
No, we never miss our mark. We never would. Even the time we're born, the exact time we're born, whether it's cesarean or natural childbirth, it's the first breath you take.
Mhm.
Before you come back on this earth, you sit down with your guides, counselors, family units, soul groups, members, and you take on you write your curriculum really, but what you have to study this time, what you all have to study, what the mother, the father, well, there's a soul group that you come back with, which is your family,
Mhm.
friends, and each lifetime you take on a different role. So, like Shakespeare said, the world is a stage, we're merely players upon it. Exactly
Mhm.
right. So, the stage play one year might be you as a daughter. Next time we come around, you might be the father, you might be the grandfather, you might be the son who was killed. You might be, so you're learning all these different roles in this play of life, and you take on all different types of things. Um,
Yeah.
the hardest lessons that we have, the hardest lessons that we go through on earth, besides losing a child, I think are family lessons, our other souls, our family.
Mhm.
The toughest, they teach us great things.
Yeah.
Hard, and the reason it's hard is because we have an emotional attachment to them.
Sure.
But we have to, and I've been through this. My family too. Everyone has. You have to know yourself enough to say this is who I am, and I don't
Mhm.
agree with that. And just because they're my family doesn't mean that I have to support that.
Mhm.
And it's people come into your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime, including
Right.
family, including
Mhm.
family. You might chose a hard mother this time. You
Yeah.
might chose a hard sister sometimes. I have a sister I don't speak to now because she did some very not good things,
Mhm.
and ethically, morally. So I won't put myself there. There's no reason to.
Mm.
And people are at where they're at. Everyone's at a different level of awareness. So
Yeah.
no one's better or worse. They're just at a different level of awareness than you are, and just know that they're. You don't have to put them down. You don't have to.
Right.
Say that, just understand that all they know is all they know. It's like Trump thing. I always say to people, well, yeah, these nasty things. Like, you know what? He doesn't know any better. He just
Mm.
knows what he knows. He doesn't know any better. That's just the way it is. And people are like that in the world. They just don't know any better. I mean, I really want to say a lot of these people who are not wearing masks, they don't know any better. I guess. I don't know. I've lived long enough through diseases that I know, and pandemics, that it's serious stuff. I wouldn't want to screw around with it.
This is a good quote here. The hardest lessons, Sarah says, the hardest lessons are often brought with the most love.
It's true.
Mm.
True. And oh, hi, Sarah. I recognize you. And
Mm.
there's one I read years ago. The heart has to crack open to show love.
Mm.
The
Mhm.
heart has to be cracked open to show love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see some more.
So we have
Any other
one here that's a
questions
tough
people want to ask?
question. This
Yeah.
is a tough one. Do the babies go to the other side? What about abortion? Crystal's asking.
Oh, okay. This is where's Donna said very very linear question, right? It's a very
Hmm.
human question. So I understand that because you're in a human mind, that so you're thinking it that way. So the soul can never be harmed. So if there's going to be an abortion beforehand, that was agreed upon before you came back. When you did the pre-birth planning, that was
Hmm.
agreed upon. You'd go, the mother would go through that experience, not the soul, because the soul doesn't go through that. The soul's not in
Hmm.
the body. The mother is. The soul doesn't go into the body to the ninth month. It checks it out, seventh, eighth, ninth, a little bit longer.
Okay.
Probably around the 10th or 11th, it really stays. But no, that's just a lesson for the mother. Abortion usually is self love.
Hmm.
I read about this in one of my books. And miscarriages are also about lessons for yourself, to self love and really surrendering. That's a good, another lesson miscarriages bring. And we also understand that the universe is perfect in its way, and that that miscarriage had to happen so that it might bring through another uh, a body that is able to complete it and use it.
Hmm.
That's all.
Yeah.
Nothing to feel guilty about.
Yeah.
And abortion is feel guilty about it all because the soul is not there. Soul is not going to say, "Oh, this is hurt the fetus." It's a physical thing. It's not a soul. So don't feel
Hmm.
guilty about that.
A few people
And I've
were
had
wondering
people
about that.
say that to me from the other
Mm.
side. I've done this long enough. I've had several people come back who've said that the other side. They said, "You told me this when I was alive and I had an abortion. I just want you to let you know you were right. You were right. You're right. Please tell people not to feel guilty. Tell them do not feel guilty."
Well, this is another good one. These are the more the controversial questions here. Let's it's scrolling so quickly. Let me try to get
I
back
know,
to it.
right?
Here we go. Lori says, "My husband committed suicide. Where does the soul go?"
Okay, so that's another one, Lori. So suicides, also another lesson, which many times they have to. This is an interesting one because the lessons in suicide are many, are multiple,
Hmm.
multi-layered, and there are different types of suicide lessons. So there might be a situation where, and these are all different options, that soul group before in pre-birth planning, they might have been together, and among the group one side, one of you is going to have to do a complete suicide, so we all understand about forgiveness or unconditional love or
Hmm.
whatever the lessons that they need because of that situation. And that's some might say, well, yeah, but and if I do the suicide, that I will get extra brownie points or advance spiritually because I'm giving that lessons to everybody. So that's my way.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that's a possibility, right? That's a
Hmm.
big possibility of that. I've seen a lot of that. Now,
Okay.
a suicide is very different depending on the suicide. Everything's the most important behind the intention of it. So, if there's someone whose Google stock went down and they jump out the window and kill themselves, that's very, very different than somebody who's mentally ill and doesn't really know. It's
Mm-hmm.
very two different things. The most important thing to realize is, though, the soul can never be harmed. You're always welcome to the other side to help all suicides. Remember, that's just a condition here in the human, not over there. When you get
Mm-hmm.
over there, sometimes suicides realize, oh wow, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, what was I thinking, or wasn't I thinking? And they'll get help there to ease their mind, ease their pain. The number one thing we can do for suicides is to pray, is send them love,
Mm-hmm.
because by us sending them love, it'll help them to love themselves again.
So we've gotten a few questions about addiction, and this one is in regards to a drug overdose. Was this part of the learning process?
Yep,
Yeah.
certainly was, Mandy,
Mhm.
certainly was, and I'm sure that the drug overdose will be come back in another lifetime. That person will have to deal with that temptation, and that'll be a lesson of, do my soul knows better this is not the right thing to do, or they might come back completely as a doctor and saving lives. You never know.
Mhm.
A lot of addiction to overdoses, I threw a lot of them, and it was really interesting. I found recently that couple of people that OD'd that way, they were met by people, their family, but also specialists in the field who
Mhm.
died the exact same way. They helped them over because they understood them. And
Wow.
there's like counselors of these people. There's like a whole bunch of them, young teenager, teenagers a little older now, but and I was like, wow, that's pretty trippy. That's pretty wild. Same thing happened with military, which I didn't realize this till like a reading did last year, when this a lady's husband committed suicide, and he was in the military, and he died because one of his buddies died. That's what it was. And when
Mm.
he went to the other side, his family met him, but all his buddies in the military who he knew and those who he did not know from the military came to welcome him. Like,
Wow.
when sometimes they have to say goodbye in the military, the 21 gun salute, all the military
Yeah.
involved, or the police.
Right.
Same thing. Those brothers and sisters over there will come get you as an
Mhm.
honor. Isn't that
Yeah.
interesting?
That's
That was
beautiful.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Makes
So we're
sense.
getting a lot of questions about when can we stop coming back? So do we have a choice over there? I think we had this question earlier while you were away, and I was saying that I believe you said it's our choice to come back or not, depending on the evolution of the soul and what the soul needs to learn to grow and all of that. So do you want to speak to that one?
Sure, sure. And I just noticed here, Susan Hall said my daughter had cerebral palsy and she had the most beautiful soul, always happy. It was a ray of light to be around her.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't and I assume she's moved on then, so to the higher life. So that's something
Mm,
very special when you have someone that soul came in just for that lesson, taking on
mhm,
that condition to teach all those people around it about how to treat them unconditionally with unconditional love, and also for their own self, their own soul's growth. They had taken that condition for whatever reasons there were. Good.
mhm.
I'm glad you recognize that, Susan. Great. So, John, I'm sorry. What was the question? Can
So
we
the
come back?
question was, yeah, how long after you die before you incarnate will you always come back as a human? So
Oh,
basically, they're
God.
asking questions about reincarnation. If you have to come back, will you come back as a human? Anything in regards to
Sure.
reincarnation would be
Okay.
your choice.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
So again, we're talking here in a three-dimensional world, and this is a very limiting place. It's imagine you're in a box, and that's
Mhm.
about it. Most of what we want to know is out here. I'm not in here.
Mhm.
Um, so um, reincarnation is a belief that your soul comes back to a different body to
Mhm.
continue life in some form, some way. So um, it's so vast. It's just so vast out there. So
Yeah.
someone once asked me, they asked my guys, "What is it like the human being? What is the level of advancement that the humans are on?"
Mhm.
And it was hysterical because my guides said, "The human being is like a grain of sand on the beach.
Ooh. Mhm.
That's how many different places there are." There are
Wow.
worlds within worlds within worlds within worlds, and there are galaxies and millions of galaxies and planets and systems. So this is only one school.
Mm.
This is only one of many, many, many. This is a great school. It's one of the best
Yeah.
schools because this one is a school that has souls here from baby souls who never come back,
Mhm.
never come in before, who believe that war and hate and power is the way. And then you have postgraduate advanced souls who believe that healing and peace and love is the way. And then
Mm.
you have all those in between in grade school that, who still try to figure things out in their own way. So
Mhm.
because you have all those different levels, it forces a dynamic or several dynamics to happen, certain events to happen. And it
Mhm.
forces us to go into our soul self for the answer. So
Mm.
it's actually an opportunity here. We're enriched with these great opportunities because of this diversity that we would not have anywhere else. We might go to, let's say, Venus. Let's say it's about love, and there's no challenges, no challenges, just loving ourselves. It would
Wow.
be kind of boring, to tell you the
Mhm.
truth. It'd be kind of
Mm.
boring. So, um, listen, the time here on this earth is very, very short.
Yeah.
70, 80, 90 years like that. When you pass over, it's like, my God, that went so fast. It was like a dream. I was in a dream. And you will have plenty of time to stay on the other side and enjoy your art, your abilities of whatever you want to
Yeah.
express. Your whether it's intellectual, emotional, philosophical, physical. You can go to school over there. You can perfect certain artistic talents over there, and you can choose when it's right for you to come back with your guides. You sit down,
Yeah.
you choose, and the earth might not be the place; it might be some other place. And you
Mhm.
might choose to come back with a friend, a soulmate, or you might choose to come back. You have some unsettled karma with your
Mhm.
family, so you might have
Mhm.
to go back again to settle out that karma to understand their point of view. So I say, do it now with love and
Mhm.
understanding, and that
Mhm.
way you don't have to come back and try to figure it out.
All right. Well, here's a good question from Carrie. She says, "As part of your soul leaves the body because of trauma, can it ever all come back?" So, is soul fragmentation or soul
Yes,
retrieval?
self-fragmentation. Very good,
Okay.
Carrie Lynn. Yes, I'm not an expert with Kelly White knows more about it, but we do both. We talked about this
Sure.
last week, and it's very true. It's like self-fragmentation. So let's say the soul's
Mhm.
its analogy is like a pie, and it's a trauma in early life, and that one slice the pie leaves.
Mhm.
And I've heard, and it happens. It happens, and that person live a life which is not full, because it can't be one. It's traumatized, and
Right.
um, it's not fully integrated. Michael Jackson was one. There are many people like this, and many celebrities too, by the way. But yeah, and a lot of people who are bullies and things, they're not fully integrated. Um,
Mhm.
yes, and you will, of course, in this lifetime, if you can handle, you get help with your traumas, like Kelly and Dr. Shirley, right?
Mhm.
Dr. Shirley
Yeah.
specializes in traumas.
Yeah, she does. with a
um,
somatic experiencing, which is a
with a
way of
thematic
releasing trauma from the
experience.
body.
And that's on tonight, John, right? So
It
the
is.
show.
Yep, Monday.
It's called
Yep,
Both Sides Now,
Both Sides Now TV, and that's at 6 o'clock Pacific time.
right here on Facebook.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But that's something you should definitely look at. But yes, a good question.
Yeah, there's a really good question on the screen right now, James. Do you want to take that one? Do you see it
Yep.
from Zowie? Okay.
Yes, it's a very common question, Zowie. This is like the first question is suicide. Second is this one. How do you explain? If I've wondered about this for a long time, when a loved one passes over and stops showing signs, does that mean they've reincarnated? Good question. So I also have been posed this question in a different way, which is, if they've reincarnated, how can they communicate with you?
Mm-hmm.
So remember that there's more of the soul that you don't see than you see. So right now you're living in many levels, many places. You can be in different time periods, lifetimes, right now as you experience this moment. So the group comes back together. So all of your group, including you and your family and your friends in this group, will come back together. We'll wait to the side till you're all there, and then they'll go on their way in this one group. So it could be millions of groups, but this one particular group. Hope that answers it.
All right. That's a great question. All right, let's see. So we're almost at we're actually
Yeah,
at
well,
an hour. Yeah.
yeah, we're an hour, so a
Yeah.
couple more questions, and we'll stop.
All right, you got it. So let's
I mean,
see.
there's no place to go, you know. I could
So
work out, but I'd rather stay here.
Christy's asking, which of your courses would you recommend for me? And we got earlier a question saying, do you pick up vibes from people when they're asking questions and comments, or do you need to hear their
Yeah,
voice?
no,
Yeah.
sometimes I
Okay.
need to hear their voice. It depends. Sometimes I need to hear their voice, sometimes I don't. Chris, I need to know what more background you have. I definitely, if you write down and say what kind of more background understandings you have, that'd
Okay.
be better for me.
That's great. And then let's see here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is a good one.
What
What
is
about
conceived as hell?
parades?
I'm
Jesse's
sorry.
saying, what about parades? I have read that people are welcomed home with the parade of souls cheering and
Yep,
clapping, congratulating the soul for a
yep,
life well lived. Does
yep,
that happen to everyone, or is it
yep.
only souls who've made a large contribution to humanity, to others during the earthly life? Do we all get one? I love that. Why?
Oh boy, it's so different, honey. Each reunion is so different because we've touched
Yeah.
so many lives. So every single life we've touched, they come to greet us. So when my friend Olivia passed over, and we had this whole setup that we'd come back right away and tell each other what it was like, and she said, and she was a British lady, and she's been through a lot. I mean, as far as psychic stuff, and we'd see healers, we'd see mediums. We did this stuff for 35 years together, and she said it was pretty amazing, James. She goes, it was pretty amazing, and that much can shock Olivia. And she said, it was as if I went to an open theater and people were sitting in the seats looking up at the screen. And I looked at the
Mhm.
screen and I walked into the screen. And all of a sudden, these beautiful colors came to me. The flowers were growing in all different colors and ways. And it was all full of love and cheer. And all these people came out who loved me, people that I've
Wow.
never haven't remembered since I was a child, a lady who I opened the door for, the little kindnesses I did, they all come there. And I looked back at the audience and they seemed like just shallow faces. They were the dead ones. Just this was life. So every act of kindness that you
Mhm.
do, you will meet all of those people because of the vibe of love. Love strings us together, and there's always a celebration for you, always. And
Mm.
even the people that you wronged in your life will come and get you. So give you an opportunity to say,
Come
"Oh,
and get you.
oh, oh."
So I remember you saying that when during the life review, you view the experience from their perspective, so
Yes,
actually
yes,
how
really
you
important,
influence them. Yeah.
really important, John. What
When you say
happens
they
is,
come and get you, that's what you mean by
yeah. So be careful what you say and do, and think.
yeah.
Um,
Mm.
yeah, I watched the Jeffrey Epstein thing on
Mm.
Netflix. I was like, "Ooh, where is he now?" And it's like, "Ooh, he's so gone in that dark abyss." Poor thing.
Wow.
Poor thing. Um,
Do you believe in that? Do you believe there's an umbral or like an in between?
yeah, so someone just asked
Really?
about hell. Yeah,
Yeah, we've
right.
been getting a lot of questions about that. I didn't know if you wanna go into that
Lynette
one.
Wood says, "So what is conceived as hell is real."
Yeah.
So that's a good question. Okay, so this is a very important part of my work. So
Mhm.
after life, after we finish this life, there is no God. A lot of us are raised with God's going to come and with a gold book. Or you go there, you go there.
Mhm.
Not really. We are our own God. So we are our own judge and jury. So once we go to the other side, went out of this body, and we're over there, and it's very natural, and there's nothing to fear.
Mhm.
And you're like, oh my God, if I knew how good it was, I would have come a lot earlier. I've heard that many times,
Mhm.
um, many, many times. They have what everyone will go back to their funeral or memorial services. They'll see your loved ones, you talk to them, they'll bring you
Mhm.
back to the memorial service, and the men usually look at and see how many cars are in the motorcade. The women look at the flowers, see who sends the flowers. What are they dressed like?
Oh,
The makeup.
oh,
My dad's funeral, where he was laid out, and we're all looking. Four of us kids are looking at his face. He looked really good. The funny he said to a corpse, "Oh, he looks so good," and it was like, "Oh, he looks so good." And with his teeth are in, he looks really good. So
uh-huh.
then, about 10 minutes later, we're talking to an old principal of ours, and behind me, I hear, "Thanks for putting my teeth in. I look pretty good." So so they all go to their memorial services, and then there comes a period where there seems like they call it a rest period, but it's a self-assessment, and
Mhm,
you go into this, I guess you'd call it a slumber state, and, usually everyone goes to the mother's house or a replica of the mother's house that they've created with their thoughts so
mhm,
that the newly arrived soul will feel, at ease with this.
mm,
So they'll go to the slumber state, and within the slumber state, they will see, feel, experience their whole life, but that they just lived
wow,
in kind of microseconds, but the impact is there. And it
mhm,
goes from day to day. It goes the impression that you left, good, bad, or different. You'll see all the impressions you left with your thoughts, how it
wow,
affected people, with your words, with your actions, how it affected someone. So let's say, I use this all the time, this analogy, John. You go get gasoline and you're in a bad mood and you go into the side to pay and you yell at the shopkeeper, who in turn gets upset and yells at their coworker, who gets really upset and goes home and yells at a family member. And that family member goes in their room and calls a friend and yells. So
uh-huh, the
when you have
ripple
that,
effect. Mhm,
it's called the rippling effect. That's exactly
mhm,
it. The rippling effect.
mhm,
You become aware of how that man felt when you sent that energy his way 10 times, 20 times, 30 times stronger than when you originally said it or did it.
wow,
And then the next person, you feel them, and you see how these waves of negativity you created in the world, or
mm,
positivity.
a positive,
I
yeah,
I remember my near-death experience. I was aware of above me, there was a tapestry, and I was aware that everybody had, or this was what I was seeing, that, like, there's this energy, a stream of um, fabric, I guess you would say,
mhm,
stringing into this major human tapestry, and it was woven in there. And I realized that any good thoughts, any loving thoughts, positivity, were very bright pastel colors, and they bled into that tapestry, which
mm,
affected everyone. And I noticed if there were negative thoughts, angry thoughts, bad thoughts, it was dark gray. You couldn't see it, and it also
mhm,
bled in to that tapestry. So in a
oh,
way, when you have your life review, you see what you did to help with the consciousness, to help each other, because
mhm,
we're all in it together. There's no separate. The biggest illusion we have in this world is that we're separate. We're not. We're one. We're
right.
one. One is omnipresent nurturing energy. That's love.
Oh, I like
Yeah,
that.
that's another one. Love is
Yeah,
one, ONE, omnipresent nurturing energy. Put
love
it in
that.
my book, my soul book.
That's great.
But that's what
Yeah,
it's about. So if you have that sense of realization, if you have that sense of realization,
mhm,
everybody that's watching, and you take on that responsibility that you're aware of your thoughts on a day-to-day basis, and you have to get into it, you start make it a habit of it. I promise you, you'll live a really, really good life. And when you pass over, you'll be very proud of the life you've led.
mm. And real quick question, and then we'll close, is about not reincarnation, actually cremation and burial. The
Oh,
difference between is there anything connected to that? Is there one preferred over
sure,
another?
sure. So I was recently watching. I watched the show Vice.
Mhm.
On you watch Vice? Great show. Except it's been a little depressing lately with COVID.
Yeah.
But when they went to Brazil, which is, of course, my favorite countries in the world, I've been there many times to work with all those people. Um, it's coffin after coffin after coffin after coffin. It's a shame because, and this is on my own opinion, not anyone else's, please,
Yeah.
just my opinions, that the religious aspect has really, unfortunately, done a number where they have to put it in a box and be the last rites and all that.
Sure.
Same
Yeah.
thing in Italy. It doesn't matter because it's just a husk. The body is a worn out husk. You don't
Mhm.
feel anything. There's nothing
Mhm.
to do with the body. I've been told that so many thousands of times by spirit. It does not matter how you discard that body because they don't need it. They don't want it. That's for the living, not for the dead. The dead
Mhm.
could care less. They don't care what you do. I think the best thing is burning it because then you save up, you save a room. It's better for the environment. It's better.
Yeah.
I think we will. We're gonna have to start doing it soon. We're gonna have to start doing it
Mm.
with COVID, no doubt about it. I guarantee we're gonna start doing it with COVID because it's it doesn't make sense. No, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter
Okay.
how you it's usually better also cremation. They said in the old esoteric studies that The Catholics used to put a candle at the head and the foot of the person that's laid out, and the
Mhm.
reason why is because supposedly the soul couldn't come back into the body. Hmm. Um,
Okay.
it makes sure in cremation that all the ties are burned off, so there'll be no ties there.
Got it. Okay.
Cremation, please. Really easy.
Mhm.
Okay, one
Mhm.
more.
One more. Let's see. Here we go. Last one. Is it possible for a body to stay alive as the
I was just
spirit
gonna,
has left
I was
the
just gonna
plane?
pick that one.
Yeah.
Is it possible the body to stay alive as the spirit has left this plane?
I've looked at it, but how do you look at it? This came out of looking at a photo of a relative with dementia who passed on later. I saw
Well,
his spirit almost
it's a
completely out of the
great
body.
question. Great
Mhm.
question, Natalie. Great question. I was there when my dad passed, and my dad was in a coma. And I spoke to my dad before he passed, and I spoke to his spirit, which was right above his head. So whether it's dementia, Alzheimer's, coma, they go in and out of the body a lot. So
Mhm.
the spirit leaves, but also the mechanics of the physical body might still be working.
Mm.
So that could last a day or two, or I think even two. I think even two. I'm not sure, but I think even two the
Yeah.
longest. But the breakdown of the physical body, which is something very, very different than spirit leaving, that
Yeah.
might take a little longer. What do you think, John?
Well, it's interesting because I went through that experience with my mom who just passed in December. So she was in hospice and, and I just wondered how could someone stay alive on such little water and little food? I mean, hardly any water, hardly any food. But then I realized that she's not really in that body.
Right.
She's out of that body. She's the spirit. She's just hanging around for us for
Yeah,
whatever reason.
it's true.
Yeah, and I couldn't understand that. I was like, "Is there somebody she needs to see? Is there, is there certain?" She waited for all of us to leave, and then she crossed over. But
What should they do? They do that.
I even went back and did the whole Christian prayers and all that stuff with her, thinking maybe it was a fear of her crossing over. I mean, it was all this stuff that I was raised to believe. So I just went, and did all of that with her. But that was quite an experience. I've never been through the hospice experience before,
Well,
especially for
what
my
you
mother.
said, John, is really important, and people should know that one of the most important things we can do is give permission for them to go, because a lot of times
Mhm.
they don't want to go. My father didn't want to go. We had to give him permission to go.
Yeah.
They really need permission. They need help. So end of life doulas, I can't say enough about them. They're
Mm.
incredible. I mean, we get
Mhm.
help coming into this world. Why not getting help going out of the world? So I mean, that's a organization I support, and
Yeah.
it's grown. It's grown. It's a great way to help someone out of the body, because some people are scared and fearful. They don't know what goes on. So
Right.
someone who's more spiritually aware can help them. They can ease the pain of them in their minds, really the head of them leaving.
Mhm.
I've never had a spirit come back and say, "God, I really miss that body. I really miss that cancerous condition. I really miss the aches and pains. I miss the medication." Not once in over
Yeah.
40 years. Quite the
Yeah.
opposite. This isn't our home. It's only a
Yeah.
temporary place. So do the best you can while you're here temporarily, and live responsibly, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
have responsibility with your thoughts, words, and deeds, because you can affect the world that way.
Right. Well,
Doesn't matter what anyone else does. It matters what you do.
this has been great, James. Thank you so
Thanks,
much. I
John. Thanks for
appreciate
helping
yeah,
out.
sure
Yeah.
thing. And y'all
Thanks,
wanna go to
everybody.
vanprog.com and click on events for we're gonna do actually mediumship readings
On
this
Friday.
yeah, this Friday. This Friday at 4 o'clock. So that's gonna be July 3rd at 4 o'clock. Actually, the day before the 4th. That's so funny.
A lot more of my beard will be there
So go to vanprog.com and get your tickets there. They're 19.99, and we
for
have
a fun
limited rooms
night.
available, so it's gonna be up to 1,000 people, so get them soon. Alright, James. Well, thank
Thanks,
you.
John.
Have a great
Appreciate it.
rest of
Thanks,
your week.
everyone.
Alright,
Okay.
take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.